provides the devices on cloud, so you can test all your code or UI in the different browsers and different mobile devices and real devices. So yeah, so they had a one event a couple of days back, or a couple of weeks back, I would say. Yeah, time flies. Yeah, I couldn't realize. Yeah, so it was a good event. They invited the people. It was like 15, 20 people event, but they would like to partner with us. We are partner with the lab database. So automation you run and you want to run on the actual mobile devices. Then behind the scene we use their real devices to lab, and it runs and provides the report. Okay. And for mobile testing we use their devices. But soon we will be hosting one good event over here as well.
But they also local?
No, they are in India-based company, okay, but they have presence. So they are in the direction to be a unicorn. So yeah, they have good presence in US and they have big customers. Yeah.
Hello everyone, I'm Hidayat. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm Hidayat. I'm a senior quality engineer work for this client. Today we are going to talk about the digital accessibility. So in today's session we are going to cover what is the accessibility, why it is important, what are the benefits of the accessibility, what are the guidelines we need to follow to check the web content is accessible or not, and last not least, but tools and resources to we are using for the checking the to test the software accessibility. So first we are going to talk about what is the web accessibility. In a simple language, I would say design and develop the web application in a way, web application or tool or technology in a way so everyone can use it. Doesn't matter for people with a disability or with the normal user. So the main purpose of accessibility is the promote the equal opportunity and the eliminate the discrimination by providing equal rights and the benefits to the people who has the disability. Why should we care about? So according to W3, there is a 15% of the population has the certain kind of the disability. It's a large number. And 70%, according to W3C, there are 70% web applications are the inaccessible. So in this digital world, we are providing the web content to the user which has the text, non-text, audios, videos, images, and interactive elements. And when disabled people try to come to our website and try to use our website with assistive technology. Assistive technology is not able to convey all the information to the end user. They feel confused, they feel lost because they are not getting the all important context through that assistive technology. So that's why we need to care about the make the web content accessible. There are certain disabilities that could be permanent, some disability can be temporary, and some disability can be situational, like holding baby on one hand, that's a situational disability. Or if you are in a loud environment, you cannot hear, that's a situational disability. So if we provide the our web content accessible, so people who have a temporary, permanent, and situational disability, they can use our website in any situation. And we are not only helping the people with a disability, but we are helping also their family, friends, and the community. Who can get the benefits out of the if we are providing the web accessibility, which web contents. So people who has a physical disability, who has the who cannot use the mouse, they have to rely on the keyboard user, or some people cannot use the keyboard, so they have to rely on the voice command. So if we provide our web content accessible, so people who has a disability, physical disability, they can engage with our web content. If our web content has the clear and concise language is used, if we provide the proper instruction, if we provide the help through our web application, then people who has the cognitive delay, they can also use our web application. People who has the hearing impairment, so if there is audio and videos, if our web content is, if we provide the caption, or for audio content we provide the transcript. So people cannot hear, they can read through our content and get all the important information. People who has a low vision. So if our web content, if we through the web content, if we zoom out around 2%, 200%, and if we through the web content, if it doesn't lose any functionality, while we are zooming in the web content, then the people who has a low vision, they can also access to the web content. People who has a neurological disability. When people has a neurological disability, they have a most common problem about the attention. So there are the many web application, there's like advertisement going on, like content is going on, they distract them. So we should give the power to the user. They can hide or they can pause the moving object so they can focus on the actual web content. So if our web content is accessible, this kind of these people with disability can access to the web content. What are the benefits of the having the accessible web page? So definitely we can reach out to larger audience because there are over the 1 million people has the disability. So if we resolve that issue, we can reach out the larger audience. We can enhance the brand image. So we avoid the lawsuits, legal lawsuits like our ADA, the American Disability Act. We avoid those kind of lawsuits. Then we can enhance our brand images and definitely. Resolving the accessibility issue is not only for the business purpose, but it's our social responsibility because we shouldn't discriminate people with a disability. So if we resolve this issue, we are helping our society. There are many Fortune 500 companies that are lawsuit in the 2022 and 2023 because they didn't make even level A success criteria. Later on, we'll talk about what is the level A success criteria. We want to make our web content accessible. For that, we have to follow the WCAG guideline. What is the WCAG guideline? So WCAG stands for the Web Content Accessibility Guideline, which is set and formatted by the W3C to make sure web content is accessible to the everyone. It has a different version. WCAG version 2.1, 2.2, 3.0, 2.2 is the latest one, and 3.0 is upcoming version. WCAG has the fourth foundation principle, is also known as the fourth principle. P stands for the perceivable, O stands for the operable, U stands for the understandable, and R stands for the robust. So perceivable, there are many things we can perceive through the our ear, through the auditory and visually. So if I have a visual impairment, I cannot see the screen, so I have to rely on the assistive technology. So we have to code or design our website in a way so assistive technology can get all the important context and we can transfer. And through the assistive technology, we can transfer all the content to the end user. So information is perceived. If I cannot see, if I can see and I cannot hear, we should provide a proper transcript and we should avoid the any typo or if there is multiple speakers speaking, then we should provide a label with the speaker so end user know who is speaking what. So that falls under the perceivable. For the operable, so there are many functionality we do through the mouse, such as the clicking on the button, clicking on the link, scroll horizontally, scroll vertically, going forward, backward. Those are the functionality we do through the mouse, right? So if people who is not able to use the mouse, we should provide all the operation should be able to do through the keyboard. So in the tagging, user should get user should move to the one by one focusable element. The tab, user should be able to go to the backward. So all the functionality should be possible by the keyboard usage. Understandable. We should provide clear and concise language. We should provide a proper label name so user know what kind of input data they need to put in the particular input field. So those falls under the understandable. Robust. There are many web applications. They work totally fine in the Chrome, but doesn't work in the Safari or Firefox. So we have to make the web content in a way that works totally fine in all the browsers. There are many applications that work totally fine in desktop, doesn't work in the mobile. Or some application works for the mobile, but that doesn't work in the desktop. Like when we want to enlarge or zoom in to 200% person we cannot click on a certain link or we cannot click on the button. So those kind of issue get resolved. Shouldn't happen in our web content. So that's called under the robust. Here are the success we take priority levels, level A, double A, and triple A. A is the minimum level of the conformance. When you are building the new web content, it is the good starting point. Start with the level A. When your web content is achieve the level A success criteria, that means you have removed the significant accessibility barrier. But it doesn't remove all the accessibility barrier, but you are on good position. So what fall under the level A success criteria? Having the text alternative for the meaningful images. Meaningful images means the image has the context. If we not provide that context to the user, they might lose that context. So that's for the meaningful image. So for the meaningful image, we should provide alternative text. As I will give the example. If we have an image of the president of the USA and the image just say name, the assistive technology is going to read on the name. The end user not going to know that what they who has a visual impairment. They want going to know what image is this. So we have to provide alternative text is equal to US president to Biden. So the user can know that what the image is there. Another thing falls under the level A success criteria is web content should be keyboard accessible. And another things fall under the level A is the color shouldn't be only way to communicate. Because when we put the wrong password, the border of the password filter gets the turn red. What if I have color blindness of the red, green, and blue? I want able to know that this field that turns red, right? So at that time we should provide the proper error message, proper icon that indicates that you have put the wrong password. So those all criteria falls under the level A. The level double A. So once you achieve the level A success criteria, then you can start to work on level A level success criteria. Level double A level is the most recommended level. All the federal and the government agency have to follow the double A level of the success criteria. So what falls under the level double A level success criteria? User should have the functional. User should be able to zoom in up to 200% without losing any functionality. There should be consistency throughout the page. If your web page has the search bar on one page and not having the search bar on another page, that is not consistent. That means your web content is not the consistent. Like as another example for the one page you have a button says purchase, on another page the button says buy. So user who has a cognitive disability, for them it's a lot to manage because each page they have to reconstruct your web content model. So for them it's too much. So we have to make sure our web page has the consistency. There should be more than one way to navigation. So through the hamburger menu, you should be able to go to the certain page. From the side navigation bar, you're supposed to go can go to the next another page. You should provide the link in the footer. So because different users have the different perspective to use the web application, so we have to provide more than one way to for the navigation. The third one is the triple A level of the success criteria. It's hard to achieve because you guys have seen there are many companies are failing because they one didn't reach the level A success criteria. So it's hard to achieve the level A triple A level success criteria to reach that is the excellent because for us to achieve the level A success criteria, you have to provide for the audio video content, you have to provide the sign language translator because people who cannot hear through the sign they can able to understand what is going on with their content. The another thing you guys must know that a certain website has a flashing light and that mostly happen during the Black Friday. If something is going on, the things are keep popping around your eyes. If it's for more than 3 seconds, more than 3 times in 1 second, that causes the epilepsy seizure to the user. So we have to make sure that we are designing the web application that the flashing shouldn't be on our page. There are many web content there they have the time limit one that you have to finish certain task in certain minutes. That cause the panic attack to the people who has the neurological disability. So we have to be mindful that when we are using the application, time shouldn't be the base criteria. If we are providing the base criteria, property or alternative or descriptive text for the image. So these are these context or low contrast text. So if there is a no proper contrast between the foreground and the background, so user who has the color time place or low vision, they won't able to read the text properly. Poor heading hierarchy. This is pretty common because there are when developers are building a web content, they many times they use the HTML tags for the styling purpose. Styling for the styling purpose, we always have to use the CSS, not the HTML tag, because they use the for the bigger text they use the H1, and for the smaller text they try to use the H4 and H5. So HTML tag always should be used by meaningful and the logical purpose, because when your user will read the screen reader, it will read the H1 tag, then it will go to H2 tag, then it will go to H3 tag, and then it will go to H2 tag. If we are using the prompt or heading the hierarchy, the user will lose the context and they will feel confused like what's going on here. So use properly heading hierarchy. The navigation. Yeah, as I said, like we should provide the proper name for the navigation. It will not just say the click here. What if the page has the 4 or 5 links and then they want to say click here, click here? User won't get the idea of what the purpose of the link is. So we should provide the proper text like purchase, checkout, those kind of name, proper name to the links. Poorly structured labels. So if we have a input fields, then like it's a first name, last name, password, confirm password, we should provide the proper name like first name, last name, not just provide the label name is filled for the everyone. Because if user know what is the purpose of the field, then only user will be able to put the appropriate information in the input field. Inaccessible multimedia. There are many videos and audio contents that don't provide the caption or transcript, so that is inaccessible for the user. Season triggering content, as I mentioned, if your web content has a moving object going on there and flashing 3 times per second, that was the season to the user. So when we are reading a web application, we have to be mindful. We have to design our web content in a way so we shouldn't show the flashing lights going on. Unpredictable behavior. Our web content should be the predictable, because if it is unpredictable, then the targeting user will get the confused, and for them they have to deal with the your product model for the each page. Lack of support for the assistive technology. I was talking to Julian because there are all the developers know what the HTML is, but they don't know what the difference between the semantic and non-semantic HTML is. So semantic HTML has the inbuilt accessibility functionality. So if you are for the header, if you use the header, then assistive technology is going to read the header and the name of the header. If you are using navigation, then the assistive technology is going to recognize this is the navigation. But if you are using non-semantic HTML, such as the div and spark for the customized widget or customize the checkbox, then you have to provide the proper ARIA labels, dates, and property. ARIA stands for the application rich internet application. So it has a similar kind of attribute which HTML has, but if you when we provide the ARIA label with non-semantic HTML, then assistive technology is going to read all the content from the ARIA. Inaccessible form. If we have form, it doesn't have give the proper error message, doesn't have the proper label, doesn't give the proper buttons name, so that forms are inaccessible. So when we are building an application which has a form, we have to be mindful that form has a proper error message, proper button names. In the last, we have to give the option for the preview, so user getting one more opportunity to check the form one more time, and if they had made a mistake, they can solve the mistake. Now we are accessibility testing. So we saw the benefits of the accessibility, who can get impacted. Now we also saw what are the common mistakes people make. So now it's time to check what the accessibility testing is. So accessibility testing is the subset of the usability testing. are checking the our web content is accessible or not. So we can do through the manual and the automation. Through the manual, you have to go to the HTML doc and go to one by one element and verify that you have used the proper tag or not, you have used the proper ARIA label or state or properties or not. So that's the manual. Through the automation, there are a couple of tools are available. I'll go over with the ND. ND stands for the Accessible Name and Description Inspector. It is a good marketable tool that can detect the accessibility issue on the web browser. So yeah, it is very easy to set up. It works totally fine for all the browser. And when you are, if you select any element, that it will give the output how the accessibility going to read the content. The console it doesn't work for the mobile application, and sometimes ND's output is different than the screen reader output. This is how ND looks like. Through the ND, you can check the element is focusable or not. If you can check the graphic and image has the alternative text or not. Link and button answer focusable or not. It is the proper names, labels or not. So those kind of things you can check through the ND. You can check the proper use of the ARIA, proper use of the HTML header using or not. So you can check whether header content is accessible or because there are the many content are hidden on the UI which we cannot see, such as if you put the wrong password. For the password, it says 12 character, but this is hidden in the DOM. So from the UI we cannot see, but those information are very important to pass through the assistive technology. So the people who has visual requirement, they understand, okay, this is the requirement for the put the correct password. The another tool is the web. It is also browser extension where you can put your URL and it will automatically analyze your web content and make sure the web content is accessible or not. It will give you feedback. It will give you the summary like what is wrong. It will show you alert. It will show you. Yeah, this is how the web output looks like. It will show the errors. If it error, there are 10 errors that must be need to be resolved. Contrast error shows that there is a foreground, background, color contrast doesn't match. Alert that could cause some accessibility issues. There is a feature, there is a structure element, and the ARIA. And if you go to the details, then it shows you what is the error is, why this error is, how to the reference it will show the how you can resolve this error. So all the details you get from the reference. The another tool is the Lighthouse. So Google Lighthouse, most all of you know that it is the inbuilt tool in the Chrome browser. Also, you can run with the command line and then node module. It is also used for the performance testing with best practices or for another analysis. The cons is the, like once Lighthouse shows is 100% accessible, that's not always true. You have to go and check. You shouldn't always rely on the one tool. You have to use multiple tools to make sure if your content is accessible or not. So in the market there is a no tool which does the 100% accessibility testing. So we always have to rely on the manual testing for the accessibility testing. These are the checklists we have to make sure to check before we say our web content is accessible. So there is a one for the text, for others, pop-ups, for the audio, video, and for the page notifications. There are other tools available in the market. We can use in the different phase of the software development life cycle. For the quality engineer, we can use the text export tool for the Cypress, they like Zapier, Selenium. And these are the couple useful web application we can use while if we want to enhance our knowledge in the accessibility side. Dedicate 2.2 document will go over all the detailed guidelines and the criteria, information of the area we talk about, what are the area labels, names and roles, where we, how we need to
tag? What is it exactly? Like you type area into the HTML or?
Yeah, so when we are using the non-semantic HTML such as the div and span, then we have to use the aria role button, aria
So,
role
yeah,
label.
so HTML has attributes, right? So you can have like a H1 tag and you can put the attributes. So area label is the one of the attribute you add additionally. So it doesn't like by default come in, but it is not a mandatory like for href, like anchor link, href is a mandatory link, right? And you provide, but along with href you can provide area label and provide the label name. So it will make it accessible.
Like if your drop down is expanded, then you use the aria expanded, then it will read through the string where the expanded is true. So the user knows the drop down is open. If aria expanded is closed, then the screen will reader will read the drop down is closed. So there is aria label. Aria is only used for accessibility purpose. It doesn't help in any styling purpose.
So on the automation side, you say it's difficult sometimes to do automation. Can you elaborate a little bit more? What are the challenges with automating accessibility?
So as an example, if I'm using the Lighthouse, there are many times Lighthouse says your application is 100% accessible. Then if I check with the Andy or any other tool, then I found the one or two more issues that they is not accessible. So we shouldn't always rely on the
So yeah, so I want to share my experience. So like we integrated with Xcode.
Yeah.
So it is
You, right?
yeah. So it's open source library available, widely used by maybe all other tools as well. But there is no guarantee that we can give it. But yeah, it helps to identify 70%, 80% of those accessibility issues and point it out in the right direction. It's like what is the issue, what in the HTML code you need to fix it. But you cannot be very confident all the time and 100%. And again, it is not covering all the aspects of the accessibility testing. So it is about area label is one of those things, but like a tab, like you step through each entire page and can you go to the next step by just clicking the tab and navigation. There is another challenge is that flaking, like that visual stuff that she mentioned, like flashing in like 3 times in 1 minute. It is not something going to be tested by X.
But that's more of the tool wasn't hasn't added the feature.
Correct.
It's not so much that there's a challenge to it.
Oh, sorry, yours.
So I was just trying to understand the limitations tools haven't caught up, the testing tools for haven't caught up. But what about the AI? Is there any role of potential AI in the? So one challenge obviously is the common denominator, right? If you want to make a web experience that maximizes all your senses normally, right, for everyone else. So is the concept of adaptive, like you have pages that sometimes you can change depending on your size screen, right? So is that concept exists within accessibility? So you can identify as here's my particular handicap or whatever, and then it can render based on the knowledge it has and could AI even help to re-render pages basically. So I'm just trying to understand some of the state of the art in accessibility, right?
So, I'm not sure but let me just answer because I was thinking a lot. Because what I found is accessibility, the WCAG report, right, that we have seen here, it is based on the rules.
Right.
And the rules, and it also has examples. So it is the very good scenario to train LLMs with this kind of knowledge.
Right.
So it is not outside of the box. It is not something like a random stuff. It is consistent, right? And now we have OpenAI or all the LLMs out there, but also like Gemini kind of LLMs, which also scans the video also.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
And
is there ACL?
yes. So I think
it's coming.
Yeah, I think this is the perfect use case. Yeah, it is up to the like who develops the
You thought about that?
No, because I was when I was talking to her because we are doing like X level of stuff.
Yeah.
But if you want to be precise and be confident, then yes, technology is there. It is getting better and better because through the video analysis, through the image analysis, you can say that it is able to do it or not. So we have automation so to take care of the like navigations can be done by the tabs or not, is the navigation is movable or not, but also wherever the automation cannot do, where this Gen AI can help us out.
You have to take the knowledge of it to do the automatic.
And also there seems to be a dependency on screen readers and their secondary tools that are external to the application, right? So that breaks the challenge, right? Because then you have a third-party tool that's kind of looking in and trying to do that. Is there in the standards aspect where you, like I said, where you can kind of create a profile, like for example, the browser now has that simple page, right, where you remove overlays, you can just read more easily. So is there some that you can identify, right, as a cookie or something, so that the page knows to render to your specific disability or disability, right? Instead of trying to minimize the page so that it works for everybody, right? The problem with that is like the least common denominator, right? Like, so if you can't have flashing colors, well now someone who could benefit from those doesn't get to see them. So you want some sort of adaptive or process. I'm just curious. I'm not very much into that. I'm just asking questions. I mean, I know enough about accessibility, but I just think it's an area. Now, the problem, obviously, like in everything, is it hasn't always had the focus because market share and I know you put the numbers up, but I think with the laws becoming more strict, right, and there being consequences, I can see this being an important area, especially also on brownfield applications where you already have a lot of web pages. How do you test those if you didn't build them in with accessibility in mind? Right?
No, this is a wonderful.
How you can retrofit with AI.
Yeah. So what I learned from this knowledge is it is not only about testers or developer. Now the marketing team.
Yeah.
Like it is about graphic design because they also needs to be educated with the same because so most of the time we put what they provide us that hey, can you put on this website and we do it and we don't know it. Also the product designers needs to think of it like the path and also like
They are product designer need to use the Figma with the X tool so they can design. So it starts from the taking requirement to the test.
So that would be greenfield, right? So if you build it from meaning from the get-go, then it'll be easier, right?
Yeah.
But the problem is the majority of the stuff is already out. So if you have a retrofit aspect, it would be helpful.
I think this is something could be unique
use
case that browsers would have by default, like as you mentioned, right? That based on the personality or based on the
profile, right? You can say, hey, I have color blindness. And so now the browser automatically, right, every time you go to a page that would support rendering the colorblind version of it, right?
I know the
but I don't want to see colors. I like colors. I want to see colors, right? So I don't want a page that has no colors. Right? So it's a hard problem because you're trying to solve.
I think it will eventually build in the devices because I know that mobile has or the MacBook has a couple of settings has the accessibility.
Yes.
Then you can do the voice over.
Yes.
You can change the foreground, background color. So you can change the color model. Some people can do like getting unique and migrate if the color screen is too dark or too bright. So there is a functionality you can visualize. So maybe.
So then you as the content provider loses the control of that experience.
Yeah.
So that's the external problem. Because if I go and let's say I have four sides and I make the font a little large, all of a sudden the design of the entire page can be completely off. So that's that progressive page or adaptive is very important otherwise. So anyways, I'm just asking. I'm not very much in this field, so just curious. Yeah.
No, very nice. So I'm not sure if you have a knowledge of but there is another question came to me. It's like I have some simple food website. Okay.
Yeah.
My users are very local to me in this area and very small budget shop. And I don't know, like with these regulations coming up in do I need to be have accessible because other people might not be my target area, or that is not something I cannot use the word care about it, but that is not my focus area. And I do not have the budget also to have that kind of very custom driven website to make sure to hire those accessible experts to review that website. It might be the just WordPress or Wix.com. I put bunch of images together and just push it out. So I think this kind of brings the red tape on the businesses or those who wants to operate on the lower budgets.
And that's why tooling and platforms help, right? Because if you could say when you do a video, if there was an AI module that automatically had the option to turn on American Sign Language, right? So you didn't really have to do anything other than maybe turn it on. So now I, as the user, can be paying for that if I want ASL. Right? It's not the content provider. Right? But it just has to be simple and easy.
Yeah, but
It's just an interesting question, but I think it's the similar issue you have with when we have different screen sizes, right?
Yep.
They have to come up with a solution, right? I want my page desktop, but I want it to render on a small device or an iPad, so you have to do progressive pages and that.
Right.
Yeah. I haven't seen it in a while.
Yeah.
How's it going?
5 years probably.
Probably. It's ex-COVID. Pre-COVID, I guess.
Yeah. So
Why is there no organizer for this meetup? Like, there was no organizer mentioned for the on the registration.
oh, is it? Like yeah, we put it Eventbrite on Meetup and the meeting, but this is my first event, so please excuse me for this one. I attended many in this capital family, but this is the first time I am hosting, so I'm learning the process.
Yeah, normally like Eventbrite it shows like who's organizing it, right? And like it literally was empty. Like I think like in the app it actually says like null as the organizer.
Actually, also the location.
Oh yeah,
There's
yeah.
some
You pointed out, but I couldn't connect. So, so I asked them to do the live stream. So they are doing live stream. But yeah, it's a good. I will never. But any your experience other than this one, with accessibility?
Do I have experience with it? Very little for my last job. We were starting to do it before I left, but we were talking about doing it for my current role, so just did it very useful.
Thank you. Thank you very much for very So yeah, so I think this was my first, but it was good that you showed up. So we'll not have much more. But what I wanted to say is, yeah, please share your thoughts. Like, what would be the next topic if you would like to be present here for the next testing related topic? I would be happy. Our next will be on the 1st of May at the same location, and I'm planning to organize every month in the first week of the month. Yeah, and on all the Wednesdays. So yeah, thank you very much for joining.
Just like that you said software and then you said DevOps. Can you maybe elaborate a little more?
Yes.
Why the cross?
Yes. So okay. So yeah, thanks for bringing it up. So I'm coming from the software development and DevOps background. What I have seen is every day the push is towards the development, build the feature faster, build the product faster, release faster, CI/CD and all. And till now, the practices by the QA testers for a reason is still the manual software testing process. And manual doesn't mean bad, but still it's delaying the process. Okay. And now QAs are very limited. Like in a 4 people of developer, there is only one QA, or 10 team members, 2 to 3 QAs, and they also need to be struggling between the requirements and the releases and all. So that is delaying the process of release. And also, it is not possible as product grows that they will be able to test all the functionalities all the time. So they need to only touch the very important point like smoke test, and then after 2 to 3 releases, they might be doing regression test and all. But what it creates is issues in the production because they haven't tested everything, and then all the blame comes back to the QA people that you weren't testing. So the value of the QAs are not directly visible by the leadership teams in all the orgs. So what we are trying to push QAs towards is what you are doing is great, like manual testing, but you should come out of that just basic testing. You should be thinking about your product's performance. You should be product's accessibility and more types of testing. But how? Without using tool, you will not be. If you follow the traditional approach of manual testing, lighthouse, and all these things, it will not. So you need to come up and orchestrate yourself with the more tools around you, so you get the time back and you can do the more types of testing. So why DevOps? Because testers should be the co-pilot of the developer. So they shouldn't be only saying, hey, there is a bug, there is a bug. They should be saying, this is the bug, this is the evidence, this is the root cause, this is the 5 times it happened in this kind of situation. They are providing full context to the developer. So this is the terminology that tester needs to build it up. They cannot say anymore, say, oh, it is a backend technology, so I don't know. This is what database is using, I don't know. They need to understand the terminology. They need to understand the context. So that's why from the manual software testing, the transition should be the quality engineering. And that's where they will be like 1% or 2% will be capable of 5 people using the different tools and providing the same value back to the organization. So that is the mindset.
What would you say that has? Go ahead.
Shouldn't the transition be like to test-driven development?
Yeah, so test-driven development is one thing, but practically achieving on the regular releases, right? So that is when you have the first starting the development and defining the testing criteria. But it's not about what test cases you want to do it, because test-driven development will achieve that part, like what you want to test, but like how consistently you would be able to test and still in the timely manner, right? It will not stretch too much. So that is the topic here.
Would you say that sort of that kind of started already many years ago in the sense that first was software engineering and then QA got brought in and became quality engineering, because now you're more building sort of the platform that supports quality testing built in the product, so the developer take, and then that extended to DevOps, right? Infrastructure, how do we make infrastructure engineering, you can call it, bringing it in, and then security, right? Security. So this is the same pattern, basically. So you just, is that what you're advocating by?
No, so let me
They're bringing equality into this, to the software practice, or how software is that?
Yeah, so let's see, one of the customer we are talking about or we work with, right? So they are the Clary sales engagement tool that I mentioned. So they have 600 test cases to test for their web application. It takes four testers to test for 2 weeks entirely to test those 600 test cases and then release. So they have developed everything, and now it takes 2 weeks to just do everything, and that is might be the normal cadence. But this is the company they want to release faster, so they cannot wait for a month, like 2 weeks to develop and 2 weeks to test after that to release the feature. So how can they reduce the cadence and then do 1 week of development and 1 week of testing and or little less than that, and then release and making still sure that the product is not broken. So those testers need to adopt the capability to do faster, right? So they need to automate, they need to do X, Y, Z. So that is one thing. But also that their information is being used by they are using the Salesforce kind of application as an integration. They have APIs. They have a big analytics pages where their manager sees the sales engagement activities. So performance is the also important aspects along with the functional testing. Now, QA doesn't have that tooling in that place. So what they do is once in a while they run this lighthouse test, and that is just given point of time. It is not that consistently they run lighthouse for all of 600 test cases or all the pages, because all page might have different data or different data sets. So at the time of their testing in a more traditional way, it doesn't provide the value that company is looking for. And when they test the similar application in the production environment, it's loading or crashing and page timeout because it is taking more time. So,
but you're describing the test pyramid problem. Right? You have to somehow optimize. Depends how big your application. You want to minimize sort of the end-to-end tests if you can test at lower levels, right?
correct.
So, because ultimately, going to take a long time. And so if you have UI tests, you don't want to use UI tests to test features, right? And there's all sorts of so that's what I'm saying. The maturity is in moving more, thinking of quality testing into more of that mindset of automation and being kind of built into the product as it's developed versus an afterthought only.
Yeah, because when you mentioned about DevOps, platform engineering, security, so those teams are there, but when it comes to the quality, or we need to increase the scope of those teams, because current SRE only looks at the production. They don't look at like how it is being tested. They will tell you based on looking at the tools like Sentry and Datadog and some metrics. They just tell you that hey, this is the issue, but they are not taking ownership of the quality, and they are not providing the right feedback. They are pointing like okay, it got delayed, this query took longer time, and all those things, but they are not testing consistently before an incident happens. Same for the DevOps. I was a DevOps, but I was more interested in the CI/CD and doing deployments fast, but not taking care of the quality. So when we talk, and then whenever there is a production issue, the not a blame, but all the questions were being asked to the QA people. That hey, why this issue in the production? Didn't you test it? Didn't you do that? So that is my point is, yes, there are teams that might be the old concept of quality engineering, but it, like QAs and theoretically it's a very cliche that everyone says that quality is everyone's responsibility, but ultimately like those questions are being asked to QA.
And also because many times they're asking the QA team a quality control question, not a quality assurance question, right? They're asking how could we deploy to production a product that has a known bug that is now manifesting, and why did we miss it, right? But the communication that's been going on is to bring that in.
Sorry, I just want to see if anybody needed a voucher for the garage downstairs.
I didn't know we could have it. So.
Yeah.
Is that new? Because last time, which is several months ago, that was.
No, if you come to the Capital Factory meetup, we offer these. It's just $8 flat rate
Flat
parking
rate.
for downstairs.
Good to know. Next time.
Yeah, for sure. All right.
I don't dare park downstairs without one because it's like $40.
I think they always validate for like $8. I think you have to like enter after 5 and exit before 10.
Maybe that was early.
Yeah, I think like if you enter before 5, I don't think that validates. I don't think it's like 6. I think it's like 5 to 10. So yeah, $8.
No. But yeah, I'm just saying it's an old question.
Yeah.
I having these discussions that this is like 8 years ago.
No.
But we were basically trying to merge, you can say, the responsibility back to product engineering, because ultimately quality is responsibility of producing the product.
Correct.
Quality control is a validation of the product, right? So yes, if they failed to validate, then you could say they failed in that role.
Yeah,
But ultimately, the solution to that is building quality in the product so it has less problems.
Correct. But the question again goes to the same, right? How often they should validate, and are there ways to validate more often?
And then the discussion that happened when we were transitioning from waterfall, long cycles, where you have a development cycle, a large QA cycle, and phases, an agile process. And the problem is you cannot do sprints or even continuous development if you don't have an automation. It's not possible.
Yeah.
Not if you want to move fast, right? Because you're testing before everything's done. Right? And so if you make a test and now something changes, that test has to be repeated every time you touch that area. And so if you have manual testing, there's going to be a natural limit function, right? That you're not going to be able. So either you have to be comfortable with longer release cycles, right? Or you need to invest in a different mindset of how you test, right? That's what the transition to, I thought, quality engineering was. The testers are no longer just manual testers; they're now developers focused on ensuring that there's tooling and there's.
So I think that's part of the TDD then, right?
Well, yeah, TDD is just more of a discipline. So, TDD is, I would say, more of a discipline in the sense of you want to kind of do the test first, and then and that way you fail them, and then that way you're able to catch all that stuff, and you kind of put the onus more on the developer. But it's been a long conversation, right? Like this whole QA. But the same applies to infrastructure. Let's say probably DevOps came out of the same problem.
Correct, yeah, and
Shift left. So, hey, my application, well, I push it to production about the load balance. Well, that's an infrastructure problem. My app is down, right?
yeah, and that is the mindset problem more than any technical problem.
Yeah, that's
or
what I'm saying.
automation and
Companies are stuck in these.
and that is also like a pushback we are also getting when we talk about automation from the manual testers as well. Like, hey, this is a draft. But yes, it is a draft. It is something, but it needs to be repeatable at some point, not from day one. But
So I like the term now. I think that's covering is it's called platform engineering, right?
Mhm.
So, or developer productivity, which I guess again,
I
developer.
think there actually been like a platform engineering meetup here like a few months ago. I don't think I've seen you with that.
No, I've been not coming into it recently. I just started back on the meetup tour.
yeah, there are so many meetups every day in Capital Factory. So
Yeah. So yeah, it's an interesting discussion, but I think the solution has to be tooling. Same with security. Security is a specialization.
correct.
Security control in a way, right? You're validating that the code is secure, right?
Yeah, and I
It's
think
a subset of quality.
yeah, and I love the thing about the security folks.
Yeah.
They use the whatever tool based suited to get things done.
Yeah.
They don't care about they do manually versus eyes with whatever. They think this operating system is great. They put their operating system. They put these are the scanners they want to put. But they use the tool and get things done.
Yeah. But the problem that's happening is the old time QA problem where they throw over the fence where there's teams fighting each other, dev team and QA team. Now you have, a developer that goes and uses something and does something wrong, and then it's security tested, further down the process, and then they use a scanner, and then a bug comes in, there's not enough context, so the same fight, right? Like, my role is just to tell you that there's a security problem, but is it applicable, is it not applicable, is it a threat, vulnerability, so the same friction, is happening, and I think the same solution applies. These are just, how can I say this politely?
Watch out.
Same day, but it's the same kind of mindset problem all the time, right? Because you have silos in your organization, and you have goals that are not holistic, right? My goal is to find as many bugs as I can. It's not my problem, like you said. And the other one is I have to check myself.
Yeah, that is the main thing I kept in mind when I develop context QA. If you know the name context QA.
Yes.
Because context was missing and it is affecting developers' productivity 100%. And I was the first person to look at it. And then it goes into, hey, what is the bug? Where is the bug? Let's jump on a call, half an hour, reproduce. It is a waste of time all the time. That's what I was like, okay, it must be automated, but also providing the context as much as possible to the developer, what happened, why happened, at what step happened, so they have the correlation, and then they can act upon it.
So that's why ultimately, in a very mature evolution of that, all that responsibility is on the part of the producer.
Correct.
And the producer is just using more advanced tools to make their job shift left, so they can know these things early. So when my ID, I'm about to push a pull request, and then it tells me, hey, static analysis of the code, there's some SQL injection problems, or there's some, SQL dependency, or whatever it may be. So now they are responsible for fixing it. They're just getting feedback loops much sooner than, 1 month later when it's, I don't know where, somebody said, hey, there's a bug, now you lost all the context, right? Now it takes 100 times more effort to figure out what was wrong with it.
No, what you mentioned
Part of
is
continuous
like
integration
similar
as
to
well,
the
right?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, is that's how continuous integration goal was exactly to reduce those feedback loops, because the more you integrate, the sooner these problems arrive at your footstep. If you wait too long for integration, you only get notice of the problem further away from. And the typical example, if you take a shower, imagine that every time you rotate your water cold, it takes 2 minutes. Try having a shower that way. It's really hard. Like, oh, it's good now, and then you have to wait literally say a minute. So the whole point, the whole solution is the same. Is you want to reduce those feedback loops. So you have the context or the information as I'm developing, if I can know immediately. That's why you want to put it in production as soon as possible, right? Because then you're going to get those signals a lot sooner.
Yeah, it must be like, as you mentioned in the beginning, it's like linked. Those tool provides whenever you compile, then one like it should be as fast as at that level. So
That's the whole name of the game, and that's why the sprints have reduced, and that's why if you want to move faster, you want to reduce the size so that you can push that faster, so you have those, ideally a feature at a time. But it's hard, because economies of scale, right? If your SDLC for one feature requires 29 days, then you can't do it. So that the only solution to that is maturity, is tooling, is platform engineering to make that easier. And so when I was developing, right, even in developers, when you do feature development, eventually your product gets complicated enough. You may need a business rules engine, which is platform engineering. You need a integrated. So that's not related to the feature, right? But a scale. You need something that's gonna help you move fast. Otherwise, your feature development has to stop completely while you don't develop some plumbing to do the part. So the idea of the platform engineering team is to support that. Now that name is just, the platform just gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. But I think it's the same. What I was trying to say at the beginning, it's just the same thing over and over, just touching more silos of that full experience of what it takes to get.
Correct, yeah. Yeah, I think I got your point. So the concept is the same, but with the time passes,
yes,
with the AI coming in place, wherever it is applicable, I wouldn't say everywhere, but with AI and the tool, yeah, it is about the maturity only, where it is helping to, in two cases, the tool is getting stronger, awareness is getting better, and adoption is getting better. So those are the areas that helps us to go towards the shift left.
Yeah. And then there's shift right too, which is feature flagging, testing, production, faster, limited release scope, so you minimize the blast radius so you can move faster. So is that all in the scope of your meetup pretty much, or is it very QA focused? You mentioned DevOps.
Yeah. So it is about how testing plays the role, like continuous testing plays roles in before and after. So this is the first topic, or this is first session, but we want to touch from the requirements to the like development phases, how AI and QAs can help from the requirements to the development stages, and they can do the parallel discuss design and then do the actual testing and automate and provide 10 different kinds of testing, and you release faster and you get the feedbacks from the production as well, and then more about the data and consistency and all of the things.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Which company do you work with?
It's Caring Bridge. It's a non-profit based in Minnesota.
And what about you? Which company are you with?
Me, Agco. Agco.
Oh, what do they do?
It's like John Deere. Yeah.
You know, I'm always amazed at the level of innovation that those companies have at the device level, IoT, pretty sophisticated stuff. I met a guy that actually used to be in the meetups. He worked for, I forgot, but he does some pretty cool stuff. He worked on.
Yeah, it's like there are fewer farmers than ever, and the reason is technology.
Yeah, that's true. I was definitely surprised by it. It's quite very technology heavy, more than people realize.
Well, technology, and no one wants to be a farmer anymore.
They like the city.
Oh yeah, you know, I did have one more question. Just your opinion on Lighthouse, because like even Facebook, when I go Facebook.com, Lighthouse, I get like 72.
Yeah.
So do you think Lighthouse is really like useful?
As I said, you shouldn't always rely on the lighthouse. You will definitely show you some basic accessibility issue, but you should try and improve where you're looking for better accessibility. None of the tools are like
Yeah.
so it's obviously for different models of iOS and
Oh, okay. So really don't try to just use one.
yeah, like
So, yeah, I don't know. So Lighthouse, you think it's good or no?
it's not
Okay.
way too much better.
Okay. Gotcha. Alright. So I was confused. How can Facebook have a low score? Or YouTube.com, it's not as perfect. So it's like,
Those websites should have to be perfect.
yeah, it's like if I
Even
can't get a
the
100, then I mean, you think YouTube and Meta, Alphabet and Meta, they can do it, but they don't. So who is perfect? Yeah. Oh, anyways, okay. Wave, yeah, that's really cool. Andy and Wave. Awesome.
Yeah.
What was your name again?
Heath.
Heath, Julian, nice to meet you.
We have to take this pizza home.
Yeah, I'll take one. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, maybe I'll give it to some. But yeah. All right.
Thank you.
Bye. See you in May.
Yeah. Bye.
Take it easy. Nice to meet you all.
You too. Yeah.
happily up.
You have a friend that you already leave, like the one with the long hair? Did you leave already, you know? No, kinda. Like the guy that was sitting here.
Oh, okay.
You know?
Yeah. बस खाए कोई वेरन रॉन्ग नहीं किया तो क्या कोई पूछे somehow screen kan है background भी है ગાડીઓ માટે હતું. કોફી હોય 4-5 કોફી પી લે એ હોય ને લાઈટ
તે
આવે
બધી વેગમાં આપણે
બહુ જ
તે પાર્કિંગ કેવું પડશે
બેસ્ટ
એ પૂરા રહેશે
નો એટલે એમ તો પૂરે સામાન દવા એડમિટ આપી